you for stopping by to check me out for our Fridays for Florida virtual discussion on civic duties. It's so good to be back here with you again in 2022. I've missed you all. We've had technical difficulties in the past couple of weeks, but we're here live to speak with you about civic duties, civic responsibility, and civic engagement. Right now, we are in a midterm election year, and we have a lot of elections across the state to look at, a lot of elections across the country, and a lot of opportunities to make headways on some policies that we want to see benefit so many Americans and so many Floridians. So, thank you again for being here with us. We wanted to talk a little bit about what it means to engage in civic duties and what does civic duties mean. I know a lot of times in high school people take civic courses, but when people are taking civics courses, oftentimes people are not very interested in high school, and usually people develop a little bit more interest in their adulthood. And so we want to do like a recap of what civic duties requires, what it is, and how we can all be a part of our civic engagement. Civic duties, it comprise of actions and attitudes associated with the democratic process, democratic governance, and social participation. Civic responsibilities can include participation in government, churches, volunteer organizations, memberships, as well as different associations. Responsibilities under the guidelines of civic duties is support for and defend the Constitution. We got a chance to see some very patriotic Americans get a chance to defend our Constitution in the United States Congress. We had some who were upholding anarchy and insurrection from what we saw on January 6th. And for Americans watching this unfold on TV, we need to be able to understand what we can do as citizens to make sure that we are defending our Constitution, our way of life, and our democracy. We want to make sure that people are staying informed on the issues affecting you and the world around you, your community. That means being abreast of policies that are going forward, making sure that you are staying in tune with how laws are being enacted and how they're going to impact your families and your friends and the community that you live in, because we have an opportunity to vote for or vote individuals out of office who are not lining up with uh, our core values as citizens. We have the opportunity to put elected officials into office who do work to bring us together, who work to make life better for each and every one of us. And as our campaign is always trying to encourage people to do and leaders to do, is to find ways to make impact, positive impact in the lives of everyday people. We should always strive towards improving the quality of life for every Floridian, improving the quality of life for every American. And we have laws that are literally destroying people's lives. We have laws that are infringing upon the rights and freedoms of individuals, like some of the voter suppression laws that we see. There are at least 153 voter suppression laws that have been going forward in at least 43 states. These laws actually work against individuals and their rights to vote. We went to Congress in 1964 to push for the voting rights bill. We got it, and now we have governors and state legislators in various states across the South that are working to infringe upon those rights and literally take those rights away. We live in a state here in Florida where our governor feels that the right to vote is not a right at all. He feels that it is a privilege. And I always say that it's very interesting how some people can feel that voting is a privilege when really it's a right. And so, if you believe, like I believe, that everyone should have the right to vote, then I believe that it is incumbent upon you to join our fight to make sure that we are holding our elected officials accountable, making sure that we are raising our voices on the issues that matter, and making sure that we are letting them know that we won't stand for individuals trying to take away every person's right to vote away. And the reason I phrase it like that is because I think about Dr. King when he says that an injustice or a threat to justice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. And if you allow leaders or elected officials to infringe upon the rights of some of us, then it's a slippery slope that could affect all of us. And we want to make sure that we're protecting all of our rights to vote, not just some. And that's the thing, you know, policy should move our society forward. It should never work to take us backward. And we live in a country where at one time women did not have the right to vote. We live in a country where at one time African Americans did not have the right to vote. And so we shouldn't be trying to single out individuals and taking their right to vote away. We should be trying to work towards everyone having the right to vote, everyone feeling a part of the American process, everyone feeling engaged in their civic duties. And so it's very important that each and every one of us can participate in this democratic process. And that's what democratic means. It means everyone playing their part to elect a representative government that will work for all of the people. We have to make sure that we are respecting and obeying the federal, state, and local laws. Because if those laws are not benefiting us, then there is a democratic way to get those laws modified or to make those laws work better. And that takes civic engagement. We want to make sure that we're respecting the rights, beliefs, and opinions of others. There's nothing wrong with disagreeing, but we have to be disagreeable in a way that is respectful. We have to do it with a level of dignity and tact because everyone has an opinion, but not everyone has the facts. And when we weigh the facts and opinions up on the scales of life, it's the facts that carry the most weight. So while we respect everyone's opinion, we should always hold true and stand firm on the facts. We have gotten to a place in our society where facts don't matter to the masses anymore. Science doesn't matter. History doesn't matter. And it's really sad that we're at this place, but we have the ability through civic engagement, through holding one another accountable and using our collective voices to make sure that whenever facts, truth, science, history is being taught or are being talked about, that individuals hear it, hear the truth, hear the science, recognize it for what it is, and lean on it. And so when I say that and think about all of the people that are literally walking away from science and grabbing hold to these conspiracy theories and QAnon ideologies and stuff like that. I mean, we are better than that as a society, but we cannot allow those who are asleep to dictate to those who are woke about what's going on. So, for those of you who are woke, which simply means in the knowledge of truth, for those of you who are in the knowledge of truth, you have to engage civically. We have to bring lawsuits against those who try and violate our freedoms, bring lawsuits against those who try and violate our civil rights, our rights to vote, our right to be safe and secure. People who simply just want to walk down a road or even jog through a neighborhood should be able to do that without being harassed, without being shot. And so, whenever you see these types of atrocities taking place, you have to raise your voice. Raising your voice on issues that matter is part of your civic duty. And we all have that responsibility. We all have the responsibility to participate in any way that we can in our local communities, in our government, in our churches, in our associations. It's very important. I wanted to talk briefly about some of the legislation that is coming out of Florida. I feel that A lot of it is un-American. A lot of it is unpatriotic. A lot of these bills are undemocratic. We just had a bill that is being pushed right now in the state of Florida called the Don't Say Gay bill. And the Don't Say Gay bill is basically a bill that is forcing students in our classrooms to not talk about, their sexual orientation. It's forcing them to basically go back into the closet, so to speak. And we live in America where people are free to express themselves any way they feel, as long as it's not infringing upon the rights of one another. And so, for someone to be able to express themselves to now become illegal, it is really a step backwards. And that's what I'm talking about when I talk about policies and how it impacts our society. We have policies in this state that literally infringe upon the rights of those looking to vote who are returning back to our society, who have paid their debt to society. They have to literally pay a poll tax in order to vote. That is a type of voter restriction. That is a type of voter suppression. We have a responsibility to call that out, and especially for the simple fact that 66% of Floridians voted for returning citizens to have their rights restored unto them, only to allow uh, state house GOP members to write another bill to turn right around and restrict them from being able to vote. Now, we know that when people are voting in masses, it serves the masses. We know that when people are voting in small numbers, it benefits those in small numbers. And no policy should work to only benefit some. All policies should work to benefit everyone. And whenever you see individuals in the state house or individuals in the Congress writing policies that infringe upon those who are the least of us, infringe upon those who are the voiceless, the people that feel unheard, overlooked, we have a civic duty to stand up and be their voices. One of the reasons I'm running for office is because everywhere I look, I'm constantly seeing individuals being taken advantage of, not only by one another, but by leaders. And they're being taken advantage of through policy. When I think about the fact that uh, Florida voted to make minimum wage become $15 an hour, only to see members of the GOP in the state house write policies that make it where returning citizens cannot participate in the $15 minimum wage increase, that is an atrocity. Because if you've paid your debt to society and now you're looking to get your life back together, but you have to work for sub minimum wage, that places strain not only on that individual, but I'm sure that individual probably has family that requires help, that needs attention. And the person cannot give their family the attention and help that they need to be able to give them if they're forced to work for sub minimum wages. And another thing is when you talk about sub minimum wages, there are a lot of people in our society in the state, whether they are waitresses, waiters, people with disabilities that are forced to make sub minimum wage. I mean, it's enough of that. I know each and every one of you have someone that you know, maybe a friend, a colleague, someone that you hold dear that's making sub minimum wage, and even where we are now, it's just not enough. You have an opportunity to engage politically through your voting power to make sure that we are electing individuals who are going to look out for you. It's a shame that the bill for the People Act, which basically works to get money out of politics, has been voted down every single time by every GOP member in the United States Senate, including two Democratic members in the United States Senate. It is a shame that we can't work towards moving money out of politics so that we can have the kind of leaders who will work for the people. And the real problem with money in politics is that whoever has the most is usually who gets the respect and usually who gets the ear of our politicians. And in a perfect world, it would be okay if everybody could do that. But in this world, uh, people, everyday people, get stuck holding the bag while those who have the money, who have the power, are controlling those who we elect. And so that's one of the reasons why I don't take corporate money, because when I am your congressman, your United States senator, I want to be beholden to you, the people, not corporate special interest groups, because it is the people who work to elect you, it is the people who civically engage, it is the people who are in need. It's also the people who don't have. And I like working for those who don't have. It's who I am. I'm all about being the champion for those who have not, because I have been one of those individuals. My family has been those types of people. This is the people that I grew up with. So I understand what the plight of everyone who is struggling is. I know the plight of what people who want more but just don't have the access. I know what you're dealing with. And so it becomes our responsibility, our civic responsibility, to not only vote, but if you can, run for office. We need more individuals who understand what the everyday person is going through running for office. And so I've never held any political office. I'm just an everyday person looking to make a difference. And I'm challenged quite often, almost every day, whether it's on Twitter or in person or whatever. But I'm challenged every day on my lack of experience in, in a political arena. But I do have a great deal of experience in just dealing in this society, dealing in this world, this life. It is hard. I understand that. There are a lot of people who are looking to represent your interests, who don't know you, who don't know where you come from, who could really, who couldn't care less. And so, we have to make sure that you are educated on the issues, that you are informed on who these individuals are that's looking to represent your interests. I always say that a leopard never changes its spots. Whatever a person was doing before they decided to run for office is probably what they're going to be doing once they get in office. If they were helping individuals, if they were engaged in their civic responsibilities by advocating for people, by just going out, marching, raising awareness on the issues, trying to make life better for the world around them. These are the type of people that I want to see win elections. These are the type of people that deserve your support. If people were just doing whatever, benefiting self, really not working for anybody other than self, and they all of a sudden decide they want to run for office, I want you to understand the difference between these types of people, because when they are in office, they're going to be working. The only problem is that some are not going to be working for you. You want to get those in office that's going to be working for you. And so, I draw my circle pretty big, and I tell people this quite often. When you look at individuals, you engage with individuals, try and figure out how do they draw their circles, because some people are born into this world and they draw circles around themselves. Some people are born into this world and they draw circles around themselves and their families. Some people are born into this world and they draw circles around themselves and their communities. Others draw circles around themselves and the nation. You've all seen the different types of people and how they draw their circles. But every now and then, someone comes along and they draw a circle around themselves and humanity. And anyone from that demographic who comes into the presence of that individual, they are looking to help them. That is who I am. That is my gift. I believe my civic responsibility is really tied to my gift as a person, and that is to help as many people as I can to make social impact on this world, to leave this world better than when I came. I want to thank you all for taking the time to engage with me here. Um, I see you all in the chat. Thank you so much for that engagement. I'm going to also go over to Twitter at 7:30. We're going to continue this conversation on civic duties, and I'm going to answer questions for about an hour. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask your questions. I'm going to do my best to answer each and every question that I can. It doesn't really matter what question it is. I want you to get a chance to know who I am and what I'm about. I'm always interested to know who you are, what keeps you up at night. Because if I can understand what issues are affecting you, what keeps you up at night, then it gives me something to work on to try to find solutions so that you can have what you need to get by. Thank you all so much. You have a wonderful evening, and it's good to see you in 2022. Also, please join our team. If you're interested in what we have to say, visit our website at allenellison.com. Please make a contribution. Your contributions help us to reach further, help us to get our message out. Join our team. We need you. Our team is vast. We have thousands of individuals. We have the most diverse campaign in the state of Florida, all change agents, and we work very hard to help people in need with our campaign. We're looking to do the work now that I will be doing when I'm in Congress. And so we don't have to wait until I'm in Congress to make a difference. We're making a difference right now. Thank you all so much.